talk about the lessons we have learned under COVID. And these are personal lessons learned. I've learned some few. Nti mwayingira ekintu ate mwagamba Katonda najjawo ye yabaleeta. Bisaso ntamu. The channel that talks about education, that talks about skilling, is being self-aware, self-awareness. Make sure you're aware of your strength, of your weaknesses, of your emotions. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, Pauls, I welcome you once again to Bisaso Ntamu's YouTube channel. It's an exciting channel. I always remind you to remind other people, tell a friend about this channel, especially those ones who want information about education, about employment, about marriage, about parenting. It's quite an exciting channel. There are very many videos, but I would like those ones to thank those ones who normally send me feedback on my Facebook account and Twitter account. That kindly keep them coming, and we enjoy this kind of feedback. We had taken quite a while, but I think we are back now on stage. Now today we want to talk about how coping up with unemployment, a situation where somebody doesn't have a job, especially when somebody has lost a job. Because after COVID, very many people have lost jobs, very many people have lost their employment, sources of livelihood, and many people are now, they don't know what to do. It's something quite funny, and it's a bit tricky, especially in a situation where there is already high cost of living, high standard of living, and somebody loses a job, somebody has a family to look after, somebody has other challenges, satisfy the basic needs of life, like food, like shelter, like education, like medical care. Somebody needs what to do. Somebody needs a job to work. Now, if somebody loses a job, I like to give, especially the young ones, the youthful people in a youthful age, I like to tell them what to do, especially when you have lost jobs, when you have lost your job, your source of employment. Now, how do you cope up with unemployment, which is so prevalent right now? Now, it's tricky, but the first thing I always tell people, that accept the situation that you have lost your employment, and don't cry over it. Don't cry over it. Don't grumble over it. Just relax and say, yes, I've lost it. What do I do now? Like we always say, there are very many opportunities which you can do or which you can work on if you have lost your employment, which you couldn't work on when you are employed. There are people who cannot apply anywhere. There are people who work in banks. You stay there the whole day. You can't do much. Now, if you lose a job, take it from me that you have an opportunity to look for a job. You have an opportunity to sell your opportunities elsewhere, to sell your skill, to sell your whatever you have. So kindly accept the situation and move on. The most important thing is to accept that you have lost unemployment, not to grumble, to start saying, Mukade, I was what? I was malisti. This people are tribal. They don't have, the problem is my tribe. The problem is my religion. The problem is my height. The problem is my color. Accept. Whatever the reason is, accept that you lost the job and move on. Number two, train yourself into a new skill. There are very many skills. And I always tell people that everybody has a talent he or she was born with. It is that talent you can train into a good skill, and finally into a competence. There are very many things. Even if you cannot play football, you cannot play netball. If you can play volleyball, you can become a good writer. You can become a good musician. You can become a good listener. You can become a good speaker. You can even become a mogezi. But train yourself into a new skill. First, identify your talent. Identify your talent, then turn it into what? A skill. There are very many people who learned things in COVID. They did liquid soap. They learned how to do sanitizer. They learned how to do counter booths. They learned very many other things. Please learn a new skill which you can turn into what? A competence. But don't grumble over lost things or lost opportunities. Remember, never try to open a locked door. Look for an alternative. Because you're going to put a lot of energy on that one, and at the end of the day, you're going to lose it. So train yourself into a new skill. It could be speaking, it could be writing, it could be listening, it could be any other thing. But make sure you train yourself so that you can move on. Number three, use the networks you have. You have a lot of networks. They could be from your family. They could be from your community. They could be from this social organization, like, for instance, Rotary International. They could be from your former schoolmates, those people you were with at the university, in college, in secondary school. Look for them, look out for them, and try to see if you can sell your skill, if you can sell your talent there. It is very important to look for your network. That's why it's important, even when you are still employed, to have some networks. It could be a social network. It could be an investment club. It could be what? These are the things which you can go back to them. You'll find yourself in a new setting. Then, of course, control yourself. Kindly, self-control is important at this time. remember you have very many challenges. You have very many challenges. You have very many people who are discouraging you, who are laughing at you. So control yourself, control your anger. You need to practice anger management. Manage your anger. So many things are going to annoy you. So learn how to control yourself. Even if you don't have a job, that's not the last thing in life. That's not the last thing. In any case, how much were you earning from there? So control yourself, do anger management. Just go and find a new skill. Then, of course, self-esteem is important. Self-esteem is saying this is when you really feel proud of who you are. Feel proud of who you are. Feel proud of who you are as a person. Glorify what you have. Just imagine you are going to move from one level to another. It's very important. But who you are, first of all, you must know your purpose in life. And one of the reasons why you could have lost that employment is because that was not your purpose in life, by the way. Take it as an advantage, as an opportunity. Because you cannot be told to go home when you have been so important in that job. You were made redundant, or you became unemployed simply because that was not your purpose in life. Go and look for your purpose in life so that you can work on it. So self-esteem is so important. Don't mind. I always tell people, and I tell the youth, I even tell people they're looking for a job, that if you, between 25 and 30, between 30 and 40, these are youthful years. Don't mind, as long as you have that self-esteem. Then the other one is, of course, self-confidence. Self-confidence means you feel unstoppable. You feel unstoppable. You feel like you are going to the moon. You take whatever you have. You must have learned something, unless you did not learn something. But we normally say 5 years in the job, you learn how to work. So we think you learned how to work. If you learned how to work, then feel confident. When you are walking into an office, just feel confident. Don't go there like this and then you feel mukade, mukade. People don't want people who are annoyed. People don't want people who are grumbling, complaining all the time. So feel confident, have self-esteem. Then the other one is give yourself time to adjust. Set out a new game. Time is important now. Don't hurry, don't rush. Otherwise, when you rush, you'll crash. Take time off. Give your time off. You can take a month and say, I don't have a job. I normally see these football coaches, whenever they lose, like for instance, this Mourinho, whenever he loses that employment, that coaching he takes a minimum of 6 months. And when they ask him, say, I'm still resting. I'm still resting. Take time off to reflect. Take time off to reflect. Take time off to reflect. Don't rush into a new job or into looking for a job. Otherwise, you are going to crash. So take time off to reflect. That time should be for reflection, thinking aloud on what you should do. You organize your papers very well. You organize your life very well, and so on. Then the other one, make sure you think of your job loss as a temporary setback. As a temporary setback, that anytime you're going to rise up again. I've told you it is not easy to accept it, but kindly, that's the only thing you should do. It's the most important thing you should do. And think of it as a temporary feedback and say, no, I'm going to move on. I'm going to start off. But you must have self-esteem and you must be confident. Then, of course, get some lessons you have learned from this. There are lessons you must have learned. I always say, every day you must be learning. You must be relearning and you must be unlearning. What did you learn from that job? What did you learn from that experience? What did you relearn? If there is nothing you learned, if there is nothing you relearn, what did you unlearn? Possibly you are laid off simply because you're a poor time manager. You did not respect your boss. You're always backbiting your boss. There must be lessons you learned, there must be lessons you relearned, and there must be lessons you unlearned. So that when you get another job, you'll be fine. Then, of course, you need also to develop new relationships. Possibly those ones did not help you. Possibly you were a rumamonga there. You are always backbiting your boss. You are always reporting late. You must get new relationship. People who think like you. You must get people who think like you, who have a vision like you. So that you have very many powerful people now moving in the same direction. You must develop a new relationship. New relationships will help you to move on. Because those old relationships, some of them are bad. That's why you are like that. They did not help you. That's why you're like that. So develop new relationships so that you put them on board. You move with them on board. But make sure there are people with the same vision like you, with the same mission like you. The purpose could be different, but there must be visionary. Then, of course, make sure watch your diet. There are tendencies of people eating anyhowly. Kindly don't do that. And also make sure you do physical exercise so that you sweat. You need to exercise the brain. Make sure you have an active brain at this time. When you lose unemployment, make sure you have an active brain. Your brain should be thinking, and one of the ways to make your brain think is to drink water, H2O, so that you get oxygen and hydrogen, and then to do physical exercise so that you are alive and well. Remember, your body needs a lot of energy now. You must be enthusiastic, you must be energetic, you must be a thinker. Build your body, eat well, do physical exercises, and most important of all, stay positive. You are not the first and you are not the last. Public service in Uganda does not even have 1 million Ugandans out of the 47 million Ugandans we are. Even the private sector doesn't even have very many people. So you are one of them. You are not the last and you are not the first. You are going to get another job if you are a great thinker, if you're a thinker, and if you're a positive what? Thinker. So try these tips if you have lost employment, especially in this COVID. Don't stick to where they don't want you. If they don't want you, fine and well. Move on. But make sure you train yourself into a new skill, you think aloud, and so on. Thank you so much. May the good Lord bless you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.